We are at the AI summit here in New Delhi. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi, along with the French President Macron, inaugurated this. But there are 20 global leaders who are here, apart from 45 ministerial delegation, and hundreds of experts and top voices in the arena of AI. And we have one such voice with us. He is the global CTO of the NXP Semiconductors, Lars Reger. Thank you very much, Lars, for joining us here in New Delhi. Let me begin by asking you. You were here, standing here, and addressing the Prime Minister of India and the French President. What did they ask you, and what were you telling them?
Well, the story is, of course, today is how do we bring AI to everyone, and what does this AI mean for us? And my Marcom people would say, Lars, we are at the moment working on a world that anticipates and automates. So you want to have a fridge that tells you, that automatically buys for you what is needed. I want to have an autonomous car. Other people want to have an autonomous thermostat. So all these little robots around us that anticipate and automate our world going forward. And for that, today everyone thinks you have to pump tons of data into the data center and get an answer back, like for ChatGPT and other tools. The answer is that will not be the case anymore in 10 years from now. So we have, for example, these little robot management units, and we have from Hyderabad our AI accelerator chips. And you plug them together, this entire system consumes 7 watts only and carries a large language model that can write, for example, at a computer tomograph, a complete doctoral report. This here is by far enough to operate your fridge and to say, Lars, there is 2 bottles of milk missing. So you see that tons of these AIs with tailor-made, smaller AI models are shifting to the edge. And by the way, that was also what your minister, Ashwini Vaishnav, said in Davos at the World Economic Forum.
Right.
He was very, very accurate there, saying, hey, 80% of all that AI heavy lifting is done by these few, tiny, cheap, energy-efficient chips at what we call the edge in the end device.
Wow, that's incredible. But what are your thoughts on the AI summit? You've been here perhaps, trying to grasp what's happening all around you. There are hundreds of stalls, but there are also world leaders that are discussing AI. There are also some of the negative aspects that have been discussed, disinformation, use in the battlefield, etc. But what will you take away from here at the AI summit?
We have to be very, very careful. Everyone is coming with AI and has a certain belief on AI. Having agentic AI or generative AI is very, very far away, or is needed but not sufficient for building agents or robots. Because the first thing that you want to have for your agents is you want to trust these devices. The moment where your fridge is buying 500 liters of milk, you will immediately say, no, sorry, I go shopping myself again. Yeah. If your car does erratic driving, your house gets too warm and so on. Or your bank account gets hacked. So the first things are safety, functional safety. Your system never must turn against you, and it must never be hacked. So chip companies like us, we are working on functional safe silicon, deterministic silicon, and secure silicon. And then on top of that, we have to answer the question, how big does the AI brain really need to be? And that depends on the use case. Look at a transportation robot, an insect, an ant. An ant is a pretty decent, robust transportation robot with 100,000 neurons. Our brains have 90 billion neurons. So somewhere in between, the heavy lifting happens. But also our brains only consume 20 watts of energy. So the entire quest is, how do you trust your device? How do you make sure that your device never turns against the end user? And also never leaks data that is damaging you. And that has nothing to do with AI in the first instance, but we have to embed AI into safe and secure systems. And that is a great area for India. We are doing these type of developments here already since decades, and for Europe. So that is the home turf of those 2 markets. And by the way, this is the European-Indian development partnering, without a lot of politicians around us, but that was just natural business development.
That's amazing to know that there is a natural alignment when it comes to semiconductors. What do you think about the semiconductor situation here in India? Well, I asked you this before. A couple of years ago, there was a crisis that happened all across, and then a national mission was launched on the semiconductors here. What are your thoughts about that, and how much of a cooperation or collaboration are you looking with in India with a huge market?
So India so far in a lot of brains in the Western world was an R&D destination for chip design. And we are also using 4,000 people here in India for chip design. Now, what we never have done or have not done enough, and it is just emerging now, is India as an end market. Now, we have global chips that I have shown you here, but what we do not have is, we do not have an educated electronics manufacturing ecosystem to take these chips and build systems out of it. And all of these little tiny robots that I was dreaming about, they need to come somehow into life. So in my opinion, and this is what we are discussing with the politicians about, and where we get great help from the politicians, is how do we build this system building ecosystem? I have a lot of these reference designs, but how do we enable the startups and Bengal tigers, the multinationals, to take our solutions into their products? And if India really wants to have a 500 billion electronics market in the coming years, that is, for me, the silver bullet. Next to it is also manufacturing and chip packaging, all fine. But they are subordinate topics compared to how do I educate, how do I enable, how do I unchain the entire Indian innovation power for systems building. And that is on the drones market, on the car market, on the home market, on the medical market. This is what we try to do, work together with these customers.
Well, all the very best to NXP and to you, and let's make new strides when it comes to AI.
Big thanks, and hope to see you soon here at one of the next AI summits, and hopefully with much more proof points already.
Hopefully in Switzerland. And thank you very much.
Thank you.